All right, let's jump right into this explainer. We're breaking down Google's massive slate of announcements from I/O 2026. And honestly, it signals a completely radical strategic shift. For the longest time, the tech industry has been, well, kind of obsessed with chasing AI test scores, right? Just battling for benchmark bragging rights. But as you're going to see today, Google is totally pivoting. They're heavily focused on taking over your daily digital life, weaving AI into the tools we already use and making it undeniably practically useful.
But hey, before we get bogged down in the technical specs and business workflows, I want you to picture something. Just imagine typing a prompt and instantly generating a slightly ridiculous but completely controllable monkey on roller skates. And this monkey is navigating the actual real-world streets right outside Petco Park in San Diego. Seriously, this is exactly what Google showed off with their updated Project Genie. It's a totally wild hook for sure, but it hits the nail on the head, showing how AI is literally colliding with our physical reality. We aren't just spitting out blurry images anymore, you know? We're generating interactive elements grounded in actual, real-world map data. Okay, so here's our roadmap for today. We'll be looking at the new Gemini models, Gemini Spark AI agents, AI in Google Search, real-world AI integrations, and finally, this massive shift to utility.
Let's kick things off with Section 1, the new Gemini models.
Let's pop the hood and look at the engine here. This perfectly illustrates the genius strategy behind the new Gemini 3.5 Flash model. Google actually isn't trying to build the absolute smartest model on Earth with this one. Instead, it matches the intelligence of heavy hitters like GPT 5.5 and Claude Opus 4.7, but get this, it does it at triple the speed and for a fraction of the cost. We're talking just $1.50 per million input tokens. And just think of tokens as basic chunks of text or data. At that price point, it's incredibly cheap and incredibly fast. And honestly, that's exactly the recipe you need if you're going to integrate AI into hundreds of everyday tasks without absolutely bankrupting the user or making them wait around.
Now, Google also dropped the Gemini Omni model. And the team described this to attendees using a pretty bizarre phrase. They called it almost like a nano banana for video. Quirky descriptions aside, Omni is designed to be a true world model. You can throw anything at it, text, audio, images, video, and it outputs these incredible creations. We're talking seamless editing, interleaving totally different modalities, and keeping characters impressively consistent from frame to frame. And here's the kicker. Because Omni grounds what it generates in actual real-world knowledge, it isn't just making pretty random pictures. You can actually prompt it to accurately animate the insanely complex process of protein folding, but do it in a stop-motion claymation style. Or check this out. With their new avatar feature, you just take a short video of yourself, and Omni will have your exact digital avatar confidently explaining quantum computing on a chalkboard, and it's actually factually accurate. It's literally blending raw creativity with a genuine understanding of how the world works.
Moving right along to Section 2, Gemini Spark AI agents.
So if Gemini Omni is the brain, Spark is the hands. We are officially moving way past just chatting back and forth with a bot. Spark is essentially an entire computer running constantly in the Google Cloud for you. Just look at this workflow. Let's say you're asleep. While you're snoozing, Spark can scan your incoming Gmails, check your calendar, pull out the raw notes from your meetings, synthesize all those findings into a polished Google Doc, and even draft a companion email for your team. Boom. It's all ready for you the second you wake up. It's an autonomous, agentic workflow that's seamlessly tied into the ecosystem you're already living in.
To really put that into perspective, imagine using Spark to handle a massive organizational headache. Say you've got a neighborhood block party coming up. You literally just tell Spark, and it actively takes over the organizational heavy lifting. It can directly email your neighbors, coordinate the dates, track the RSVPs, the whole shebang. And it does all of this in the background without needing your constant step-by-step hand-holding.
Naturally, the big question here is safety, right? Because handing over this much power is, frankly, a little intimidating. But Kari, the CTO of Google DeepMind, was quick to reassure everyone that your agent isn't just going to go rogue. They are building the system with very explicit guardrails. Sure, it might draft an email for you, but if it needs to touch the external world, like actually hitting send on that email or moving your money to buy party supplies, it slams the brakes. It stops and explicitly asks for your approval, so you always remain firmly in the driver's seat. That brings us to Section 3, AI in Google Search. This is a major turning point in this explainer, focusing on how AI is fundamentally reshaping Google Search itself. We're looking at a completely stark transition here. The old model of search was basically type a query, click some blue links, and visit independent creator websites. But the new default?
AI overviews. Google is essentially turning its search bar into a giant prompt box. In one really cool demo, a user asked how black holes affect spacetime, and instead of just serving up a link to an astrophysics blog, the AI instantly wrote the code for a fully interactive visual of a black hole right there on the search results page. You can literally play with a slider to see the effects without ever leaving Google.
But man, this introduces a fascinating and highly debated cause and effect dilemma. Think about it. If Google scrapes the web to feed these incredibly helpful AI overviews and users just stop clicking through to the original blogs and websites, well, how do those creators survive? Without that website traffic, the financial incentive to create the original data just evaporates. And if that new data disappears, what on earth is the AI going to train on in the future? It is a really delicate balancing act, and Google is going to have to navigate it extremely carefully over the next few years.
Let's shift gears to Section 4, Real-World AI Integrations. Moving entirely out of the browser, let's rapid fire through some physical integrations where Google is just completely blurring the lines between software and reality. First up, they introduced a universal cart. This thing remembers your items across totally different websites, from some indie Shopify store all the way to Target. They've also built in an agent payments protocol to make sure your AI can securely handle those transactions for you. On top of that, they're partnering with Warby Parker to drop AI glasses this fall. These glasses can actively translate speech in real time or even whisper your incoming text messages straight into your ear. And absolutely crucial here to keep all this trustworthy, they are expanding Synth ID, an imperceptible watermark that lets you immediately identify if a piece of content was generated by AI. They even highlighted some surprisingly quirky physical stuff. Boston Dynamics showed off this robot that doesn't just, politely open the fridge to fetch you a drink. No, it literally picks up and carries the entire unplugged refrigerator all the way across the room to you. It's kind of a hilarious and slightly absurd example, but it perfectly underscores a massive point. These AI models are finally developing the physical reasoning required to interact with massive, heavy objects in our daily, messy environments. Finally, Section 5, the shift to utility. So let's pull all these threads together. If Google I/O 2026 proved anything, it's that the industry is rapidly evolving. The past was entirely about chasing benchmark high scores, trying to win complex math or science IQ tests against rival models. But the present? It is all about everyday integration and raw utility. By prioritizing cheap, incredibly fast models like 3.5 Flash and building agents like Spark that basically live inside your calendar and email, Google is aggressively weaving AI directly into the daily workflows of normal consumers and small businesses. They want AI to be this invisible thing you just use effortlessly, not some complex tool you have to learn how to prompt. It really is an incredible leap forward in utility. We are moving away from simple chatbots and stepping into a world of agents that can organize our schedules, build our websites, manage our universal shopping carts, and even whisper in our ears through smart glasses. But it does leave us with one final profound thought to ponder. As these intelligent agents become the hands and eyes organizing the most intimate details of our digital and physical lives, are we truly ready to just let them take the wheel? Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer. I really hope this helped you structure the massive shifts happening right now in AI, and I will see you in the next one.